What's up, guys? Today we're going to be replacing a belt tensioner on a 2005 Camry. This model Camry is the years between 2002 and 2006. This Camry is equipped with a 2.4 liter and we will be replacing the belt tensioner. We are replacing our belt tensioner today because ours broke during routine maintenance. As you can see in the video, the part where ours broke off.
Bruh.
A good tip for before you take off the belt would be take a picture of the belt's orientation so you can use that as a reference pic for later. Next, we're going to have to take off our front passenger tire, so go ahead and jack the car up and get it on jack stands. Go ahead and take off the hubcap and the wheel. Next, there's going to be a little splash guard that's just only held up by two 10mm bolts. Go ahead and remove those. Once removing the splash guard, you'll be able to see the bottom bolt of our tensioner. It is a 14mm. Next, go ahead and remove the belt. We are able to just pull our belt off since our tensioner broke. If your tensioner is still fine, go ahead and decrease the tension using a 19mm and a breaker bar. In order to access the upper bolt of the tensioner, we're going to need to lift the motor just a little bit. We're going to put a piece of wood on top of our jack to increase our surface area. Do not jack up the oil pan with just the jack, as you will damage the oil pan. Before jacking up the motor, we're going to need to remove the upper motor mount, which is held on by three 14mm bolts. The lower motor mount is held on by a 19mm nut. Go ahead and grab a breaker bar and remove that one. Once we have the engine free from both motor mounts, we're going to want to remove the lower nut on the tensioner. This is held on by a 14mm nut. Once you lift the motor, you're not going to be able to see it anymore, so it's important you do it prior to lifting the motor. Now we are free to lift up the motor a little bit, just enough to go ahead and remove the upper tensioner bolt. Go ahead and grab your 14mm with a breaker bar to loosen up the upper tensioner bolt. Once you have removed the upper tensioner bolt, go ahead and remove the tensioner. Here we can see the differences between the old and the new and what part broke. Now we are ready to install our new tensioner. Go ahead and put the upper bolt through the tensioner as you drop it back into place. Go ahead and start threading the bottom nut and the upper bolt in order to put the tensioner into place. Once the tensioner is all tight, we're going to go ahead and drop the motor back onto the lower motor mount. Make sure to release the jack slowly so you can get the motor into place. Tighten the lower tensioner nut. Now go ahead and install the nut back onto the bottom motor mount. Go ahead and install the belt. And install the upper motor mount. Don't forget your splash guard. Go ahead and put your wheel back on, and this job is completed. If you found this video helpful today, go ahead and please leave us a like. Got any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. And consider subscribing to Big Girls Garage for future content.